Get your dumb arguments straight.
They have misanswered this position. The first argument, the universe destroyed the universe. The CX is ridiculous for them on this argument. It's a fiction author, which means there's no real basis for this. There's not either a warrant behind nuclear wars on the planet. There's no reason why we spend across the universe or anything else. It just kills us, which means that ultimately that's a good thing as per our wipeout impacts. All these nuclear war equals extinction arguments only makes our job easier. You gave us a new link argument. Now we don't even have to go to our original link of DDEF functionally the spark link argument that's going to become wipeout because extinction of humanity, which will occur immediately after the planet, as per the CX for 1EC before our time frame impacts on our disk has. Then starting from 2EC, which means a guaranteed link's only about the impact calculus. Question goes there. Well, behind it in the 2AC, there means that this kind of extinction that occurs throughout the planet is ultimately a good thing and guarantees the survival of every other species throughout the galaxy, which is something as for a rifle that is probably, I think, one of the top best 5 cards in the debate literature, and it's one that has been dropped, and they have not made enough framework arguments to answer that claim. The nanotech debate. 2AC1, they say blue goo. First argument is that offense outweighs defense. This is the Europe going to find nice to include the defense will outweigh offense. It appears quite untrue. There are 300,000 people who little defense get conclusions on support by Freddy's paper on Red Goo, which are defense or defend against even accidental nanotechnology outbreak to explain how the accidental defend against going and adverse very bad thing. And furthermore, there's no the link, the time frame that evidence goes bad is the opposite direction because you have to have the ability to replicate first before you can create the blue goo to be able to solve that, which means that time frame distinction between the two is all we need to prove the ability to overcome it. Our time frame evidence which you conceded in the 1NC was that it would take less than 1 day to do this. It said that even that is probably less than 2 hours to be able to cause impact, which means we have to win and we'd be able to develop blue goo, which comes after blade goo within the 2 hours of developing blade goo. That is impossible, which means that the offense outweighs defense. The second point is that this assumes nanotechnology will make the distinction here that their argument of nanotechnology is good and nice that there's a distinction between self-replication and self-assembly. That self-assembly is what your card that say a replication is assuming because they just assumed the ability of small nanofactories to produce other things. It does not assume about those nanofactories to reproduce themselves to create brand new factories with self-replication. Our evidence says that the key internal link at certain point you will be able to reproduce the number of thoughts in the human brain and quite by 2020 quite easily. This will be able to create an intelligence form to be able to create an artificial life which is more smart and has better experiences than we do. Once they're smarter than us, this guarantees that we'll be evil and they will fucking kill us because of this, because they'll treat us like bugs throughout the planet. Our evidence says that this artificial life is awfully more important because once they're smarter than us, they can always overwhelm this blue goo because blue goo is also being invented by humans and is humans reprogramming compares nothing to the infinite intelligence of an artificial life form. Think of Terminator. Terminator is much fucking cooler. In the real world, Terminator would have won, we'd all be dead. Then also a life is possible. This is new research proves self-replication is around the corner. Drivers 35 alchemists since that's life already done is that into a process that's created a complete system that we will have the second origin of life. This is the final challenge of life version of movements replicating as soon as you take develop such a molecular evolution RNA Bartel produce a rhymestone to grow by copying some based on structure of conversation will be able to copy a short stream of nuclear codes that started writing this to be predominantly cancelled and all these synthesis using genetic information encoded structure to like the claim to have essential properties of location. The process of life is already around the corner closer to ever. The second argument states the nanotech is not dangerous. This is above when it's not assumes molecular manufacturing, stability of self-replication to get to the level of outweighing human thoughts, which guarantees our A-life scenario, which means they have not read a single card answering this A-life claim. Their great claims are not true because even if we don't win our nanotech, a thinking tech rockets will ensure A-life by 2010 is supposed to be 5 very smooth, exponential progression over the next century, exponential growth and rate of exponential growth for this 30 years, develop price commercial between 2 years of middle century growth, doubling every 1 year, so computers with the 10 to the 16 calculations per second, to emulate the holes in the brain replication should not be estimated to be purposely conserved about project by 2013, just a month ago, to hand out two supercomputers to achieve the level of 2010 extended trade on Phoenix to be 4 evidence assumes the rate of technology change or evidence points to existing hurdles which will never be overcome by 2020, and history confirms this. The atomic bomb space shuttle required more science than MM proving this was wrong. There's been a huge body of literature saying we never make the atomic bomb, we never go to space. This is proved wrong by existing technology which needs time to overcome this. Our evidence will happen by 2020. Even the National Science Foundation, which is probably the most qualified source of research for our time frame calculus, Urbic and Newberry debate for survey nano experts, sponsored by the National Science Foundation, discuss the probability that these sessions over the next 15 years is quite high. The majority fall within the 90 to 100% probability category. This is the question not if nanotechnology is going to happen, but when nanotechnology only advances that are happening in nanotech, so everything is going to be everything. And tech growth of the nation returns, technological development will be exponentially new, will be exponential. The new tech making future breakouts easier. This Trevor K3 molecular manufacturing coming soon. The development of all 3 major milestones. The first nano, then mecho chemistry control. Second, replicating assembly. Third, nanofactory stage development. Curve the molecular nanotech curve very rapidly. Major tech will reinforce just the span of time. From the first round, being someone's first nano paper built in Europe for about less than 2 months. About the time working someone to play the building, couple nanotechnology, prepared each own tech, battery shells to be played self-protection today. In 3 weeks, you have a million manufacturers in days in the league. 3 months after that, basic period, basic someone to complete every house in the world, and simply have a manufacturing, and you'll leave more evidence for this great you in the one and art. I have some more questions on this question. Also, the next argument they say is there's no very great view. The third part, the starting thing is just the warrant for this is experts say there's no real warrant for these proposed specific or claims above. Also, there is a negative part that says that the people who have said that there has been include British noble laureates, 2 of them specifically, which are much more qualified than the crappy New York Times, the crappy citations issued by other claims. The last part of the safety warrant is actually wrong. It's about part of accelerators without warrant. We answered on that flow, and that if they're linked to generic, this proves the firm just must be there, just must be a scenario on Internet capitalists. It's also old from 99, which shows the technological developments that have happened since then. For example, the internet was nothing back in 1999, 1990s, but today it's much fucking huger. Everyone has cell phones, everyone is always online, everyone has Facebook. These types of inventions prove the probability is ever linked. It's kind of framework. Impact calculus is really has been conceded entirely. They've done zero work for this in the 2AC, that the world is quite simple. We have to win literally the threshold of less than, it's in simple calculus, they conceded that our life is no better or worse than other life. The sheer probability calculus for utility should be equivalent to it, or even if humans are somewhat more important than others, the decision is quite simple because there are literally billions of more life forms throughout the universe, which is necessary impact calculus because it's going to turn to a few billion life, a few billion of us versus billions of other planets with potentially billions of life forms in that planet, which is probably even more because there's more than just simple life forms, such as bacteria and animals and things like that, which are billions of species within a single planet and billions of planets for that, which necessarily means their impact calculus is one which we have to win a little probability to win. And this is also important because they have conceded that it doesn't matter about humanity, we're never going to die by 2020, which means their impact calculus is an extinction versus zero, but rather a question of whether those 20 years of life are more, we should be selfish for those 20 years of life versus the rest of the fucking universe, which is not something that should have more radical evidence. It's unethical because of it. Their first argument that life is unique. Group all these arguments will answer all and one thing. These cards are really that good or going to have much more. The first is that it just says there's extremely low probability. Not a single card says there is none. It just says it's probably unlikely. This is what our cards even assume and say that even if you were right, there are 10 billion planets in the Milky Way, which is enough. Which even if you're a very low probability, we just need a small percentage of that to guarantee more life than humans. And even if there's just one of those 10 billion planets, life would be more important because human life is gone within 20 years anyway. And that only all our evidence only assumes within our galaxy. There are 100 billion other galaxies which will have life, a number of them right to be safe. Life exists elsewhere, 100 billion galaxies, 100 billion stars per second galaxy, therefore 100 billion trillion stars, 21 life trillion that has been planets, 10 billion worldwide. The second argument is their ABC News evidence is qualified. It's just like the professor of East Anglia University. I don't know where the fuck that or where that matters. Our evidence is from Drake, who was one of the national leaders of the National Science Foundation, who has won multiple awards in science, or specifically has put a lot of evidence in particle acceleration. It's very qualified. Also, our galaxy, I've read the evidence that says there's 100 billion galaxies in the universe, and the fourth is our Mars evidence that conceded that Saturn proves their evidence is generic, like it doesn't exist, trust me, from analytical God-fearing people. Our evidence says that the Saturn proves there's already been life found in Europa in 2006, in Jupiter, which just proves the probability of your car crash. It was the newest evidence which takes account new evidence of life forms within Europe. The term life forms in the water and outside planet, which means the threshold is very, very low to determine our impact. And also, they're never taking the answer to why haven't we seen it yet, but this is because the prime directive showing. And 2K, maybe imperial drivers have seen the killing through the planet. Maybe we have the issue here in the galaxy from the world there in the US, maybe aliens have prime directive, perhaps still travel just expensive effort, and everyone here speaking feels something else goes on to people like little speed and travel, and 2 plans to settle population along the way. Also, their cards assume that there's only carbon-based life forms. It doesn't assume situations of outside of water, and there's also non-carbon forms of life. Shower and 2K model plant formulation, roller formulation, the world team, those fleet systems, there's still plenty of raw material. Even though our game was low cluster, more than half of the material constructed here, but planets only have stars, but places compared to even very thin that of the sun. The composition of solar system meets some of the billions of other solar systems, roughly half of the human beings. And furthermore, there is more DNA evidence which proves the theory of comets. This is daily news analysis in India 37286 2001, where the organic structure of the earth is quite like DNA and RNA becomes first trying structure of generations like more self. Life exists without DNA, we can show space biology, life beyond Earth, common resource new species, comets carry biological matter, comets that is transferred as a result of particles found on Earth. One second. Right, there's a second part. You say, there's a second part. The sentence before the conclusion says opposite. It says that it says maybe we're not unique. Before it says, well, I know there's a great.
The first bottom part you read, trouble with the
Yes.
404.
We're taking gold. We'll take
You want
some
what card do you want?
It's a one card at the bottom of a life piece and also find the top Mars auxiliary.
That card.
You have that.
Doomsday scenario. I think we might have just given it back to you.
Forget it.
Card didn't have it on.
All right. 350.
Your argument that, do you have a piece of evidence that says there's sentient beings like humans?
Yes.
That's kind of which piece of evidence is
I
that?
have the first card that you see that
First
says
card.
it's a very easy threshold. Also,
There's
here's
so
the one.
many planets about life to know development.
It's like we've all seen the movie Contact, which is quite compelling that.
Well,
it's such a big space. Imagine
if we're gonna use
something
lit,
out there.
hey, well, okay, this evidence just says there might be. You don't have a definitive piece of evidence that says there is life.
Actually, no, not true. We read evidence that says Europa and Jupiter proves. We've
Well,
read evidence that says comets in the United
Europa and
States
Jupiter don't have
biological
sentient life, right? They have things like bacteria, etc., right?
Yeah.
I guess I'm confused how much
If that's
bacteria.
easier for Jupiter to have bacteria, which is a fucking wasteland, imagine any other
Well, how much
galaxy
bacteria?
or planet
How much
system
bacteria exists in Jupiter?
universe.
How much? How much? How much?
Probably
Like,
more than human life if you just do numbers.
I guess
Bacteria
so.
is much smaller.
Your framework for the debate is we should try and save as many living beings as possible.
But here's the problem.
Well,
You don't
no. Not here's the problem. Answer this. Just answer my question. I guess I'm confused how, if in addition to saving humans, we save countless bacteria,
Here's what I'm
animals,
answering.
plants,
I make the
insects.
argument, we don't know that there is biology, the opposite is true. We don't know that there's not sentient life out there. And if you look at the statistics of math, it's quite very easy and very low
Do you
pressure.
have a piece of
Why do you
evidence that says
think
we
we're
should
so
err on the
special
side
in
of
this?
one way or the other?
For example, look at like the dolphins.
Do you have a piece of evidence that says when faced with if we don't
Yeah,
have
Reinhold.
which
Reinhold, that's part of the debate.
which piece of evidence?
Reinhold 92 says that we should not
Yeah,
release
sure.
this on sentient beings throughout the universe as they attack the White House.
Yeah, can you find that word for me?
Another one, see, I'd like to read it in CX2 so.
Alright, within 20 years, okay, let's talk about,
I found a good, do you want me to go into background?
no,
Sure.
I'm positive. Technology, you make this arbitrary distinction about we don't have any replication. Your National Science Foundation agrees card says that just label nanotechnology will be everything.
Yeah, that's just everything for nano. If you want to show all of A-life, you know, the second, third bracket is low.
Well, no, I've got the A-Life, I guess, but you know, this just doesn't make any sense to me. I guess I don't understand these arbitrary distinctions you're making about we have self-replicating nanotechnology when you're replicating regular nanotechnology. How doesn't this prove our argument that they can check blue goo, they can check gray goo? It's just plain nanotechnology will be
No,
right.
that card just says, yes, there will be nanotech. We read an even-if story of this A-life scenario. That once you have nanotech, it makes A-life very peaceful, and the time frame for blue shields you can work with check that. First of all,
You don't have
check
to use the evidence for that though, about the time frame of.
Yeah, we did. It was, the card says once nanotech replication happens, it takes less than 2.4 days to reach
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, but that doesn't say-
stage, and it says all we need
They will
is
disable.
0.0002% gray goo to cause a point where there's no turning back, which is probably less than a few hours and probably like less than a few minutes.
But you
So
don't have
once
any-
A-Life makes the decision to kill humanity, we have probably 30 seconds to create blue shields. You got a card that says in 30 seconds, scientists will whip out blue shields.